Welcome back. It's day 4 of your free yoga challenge with me, Danielle Roth, the founder here at Pele Yoga in downtown Rochester. And today I'm bringing you an introduction to our class called Pele Free Flow. So free flow is a style of ecstatic dance. I have been inspired by the practice of 5 rhythms, which is very popular in New York City and on the West Coast. It's a movement practice that's rooted in yoga philosophy or mindfulness philosophy. And we're just taking that philosophy off the yoga mat and bringing it onto the dance floor. And in turn, into our relationships and into our greater life. So this feels like a great time to introduce you to our inspiration at the studio, the Hawaiian volcano goddess, whose name is Pele. She represents this element of fire or transformation. In this practice, we're going to use the elements as framework for inspiration or a launching point for how we'll move the body, what kinds of movement we'll engage in, and then also what qualities that we'll practice cultivating in each section of the class, which resonates with each element. You'll learn a little bit more about what that means as you start the practice with me. Know that you do not have to look like my movements. This is about feeling into your own experience, your own body, taking my words, taking my suggestions, and then finding how they can work really for you. So I hope this is useful for you. Thanks for being courageous. You don't need a mat, and I've added a playlist that you can use. Otherwise, I'm going to demonstrate without any music because there really is always an internal rhythm inside of us that can be our guide. Enjoy.
Okay, as I said, you don't need anything special to do this practice. You can wear just what you're wearing. No need for a yoga mat. Just clear out a little space for you to move around. So the first element that we'll work with is this element of earth. You might guess that some of the qualities we'll cultivate here are grounding, opportunity to connect to the present moment, what's happening right now. You might be engaged in seeing me, or you might open your eyes and see what's happening around you, which is such an important skill. So we're not trapped in imagination. We can re-earth, re-presence ourselves in the moment to effectively engage with it. So in the body, what does that feel like? So earth, it might be child's pose in a yoga practice. Here, you might get closer to the ground, feel the ground. You might simply feel your feet on the earth. And in case, starting to connect to your breath and just feeling into this beautiful body that you're in. The connection to this earthly body is what this part of class invites us to do. So any stretching, any movements that helps you connect to here and now. Can be fancy shapes, they don't have to be. You can use yoga moves, right? Just call on what you know and use it in this exploration of earth. Great. And then from earth, we're going to transfer or transition into the element of water. So you might guess, water is about flowing. The qualities we're cultivating here are adapting to what's happening. So we've gotten grounded to what's happening, and then we may have to shift or move or find some fluidity in the way that we are engaging with one another, with what's up. So that will translate into more fluid movements in the body. You might go more circular, around, just bringing juice to the joints. Yeah, creating fluidity. This might be like cat-cow in a yoga class, or those first sun salutation A's, when you are really exploring and creating space and fluidity in the body. Great. Awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Then from here, right, you might take that flow on the road. You can move it around a little bit, sometimes flowing your feet around the room. This is like the dance for me in the grocery store, where like, okay, I'm keeping my distance. How can I flow with the other people who are here? And we might then start to engage with the element fire. So fire is an element of creativity. Fire is the element of transformation. So engaging with sticky things and letting them bubble up so that they can be released, right? Or that really hard phone call you got to make, and you make it. And then once you've overcome that, you've engaged in that challenge, you can find that lightness on the other side. So in movement, what does that look like? Well, you can start to amp up the intensity, right? And just create some groovy quickness. And you can start to release or shake parts of the body out. So your hands, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and finding your breath helps you play with that, right? And letting go of having things to have to look a certain way. So again, in this creative process and releasing into that. Right, or we've got pent up energy and it needs to be released. Then we need something invigorating, fiery to stir things up so we can let it out. Yeah, after fire, after you've shaken things up to release them, there might be this opportunity to connect to the next element of air. What are we cultivating in air? Our ability to let things go and enjoy ourselves. It's okay to feel good, and you can let that translate into a lightness in your body. So you might just be lighter on your toes, lighter in the way that you're moving, and you're not worrying about what it looks like. You're practicing that. You're practicing letting go of self-consciousness so that you can feel light. Right, and that brings us home, right? The movement will flow and we'll connect to that final element of universe. In universe, we're cultivating our ability to see both the humanity and the divinity in ourselves and one another. We are practicing qualities like surrender. We can practice trust. We don't have to know what's going on. We can trust that there's something greater than ourselves. And then that can translate in movement to slower movements, nurturing movements. It might be a time for contemplation, meditation, like seated or laying down, or standing here with me and just feeling your breath, feeling your body, letting yourself take what you need, take the stretches, maybe a little self-massage. Yeah. So we can nurture ourselves and also maybe even get to know ourselves as more than this body. That there are layers to who we are. There's an energetic body that you just stirred up. Maybe something got released. There's a mental body. We can watch that thing say, mean things. And when we can watch the thoughts, we know we are not the thoughts. We're not so intertwined. It's just a part of us. It's part of our makeup. Right? There's a wisdom body. There's just a higher knowing or a wider view that we might be able to tap into in these meditative movement practices, right? And maybe even tap into the bliss body where we feel joy, true belonging to ourselves, and true connection with one another. Thank you so much for joining me for this Pele free flow practice where we begin to take the yoga off the mat, move it into this free form movement and in relationship with one another on the dance floor so that it continues to carry out into our ability to be productive and engaged and enlivened in our daily lives. If you are enjoying this 10-day free yoga challenge, I encourage you to forward this email to a friend. Invite them to join us at Pele Yoga/free yoga challenge. And together we can make a difference and we can support one another in this never-ending journey. Namaste.